You ever have one of those mornings where the universe just decides to drop kick you right out of a dream? Picture this. It's 5:47 a.m. The sky's that weird, bruised purple, kind of beautiful, but mostly the color of regret. All's quiet, until suddenly the whole neighborhood gets punched awake by this diesel engine. Roaring so loud it rattles the windows and your molars with them. I shoot up in bed, pure panic, heart racing, no idea if it's an earthquake or the apocalypse or just my luck finally running out. And I do what any sane person would do. I stumble outside in nothing but my boxers, bare feet on gravel colder than a tax auditor's heart. Adrenaline making me forget about dignity or shoes or the fact that I haven't had coffee yet. I look down my driveway and my heart just stops. There it is, the horizon. 29 feet of Boston Whaler glory, my pride and joy, my life savings, every damn double shift I ever worked, every time I told myself, just one more month, Caleb, you'll get there. And now it's hooked up to a tow truck, like it's some piece of abandoned junk, rolling away with my dreams still inside. I'm standing there, shivering in the dawn mist, feeling naked in every sense of the word, when I see her. Patricia Sterling. Arms crossed, perfect yoga gear, not a hair out of place, looking like she just walked out of a commercial for rich people's problems. She's smirking at me like she's won the lottery. Your vessel exceeds the aesthetic dimensions of the neighborhood, Caleb, she says, syrupy sweet. But it's not sugar, it's straight up venom. We're just enforcing the community standards. You ever get so mad you forget it's cold, forget you're in your underwear, forget your own name? That was me, shaking with this white-hot rage, ready to lose it all right there. But as the tow truck rounds the corner with my boat, my future, I remember something. One little secret buried in a pile of legal documents that nobody ever reads. Certainly not Patricia or her little gang of country club tyrants. Turns out that sparkling lake everybody loves to sail on, Lake Serenity, the same one Patricia treats like her personal swimming pool. I own it. Every single inch of it. And soon, Patricia Sterling is about to find out exactly what happens when you try to take from a man who can banish you from the water forever. But hey, let's back up a sec, because I know what you're thinking. How does a guy like me, a grease monkey with permanent oil stains on his knuckles and a fondness for gas station coffee, end up locked in a suburban war with the Queen of Oak Haven Reserve? I'm 52. Spent most of my life elbow deep in busted engines, living above my shop, breathing exhaust and ambition. Never more than a paycheck away from broke until Uncle Silas, family legend, local cryptid, stubborn old coot, decided to turn my whole world upside down. Silas, he was the guy who bought lakefront property back before there was a lake, before Oak Haven Reserve was even a glint in a developer's eye. Everyone called him a hermit. I just called him smart. When his lawyer called to say he'd left me the house, 3 acres, a private dock, and a view straight out of a nature magazine, I thought it was a prank. My wife, Elena, and I drove out there on a gray, rainy Tuesday. The place was magic. Air smelled like pine and possibility, not burnt rubber. And for the first time, I started to believe maybe, just maybe, a guy like me could belong somewhere beautiful. Oak Haven Reserve, though, man, that place was something else. Picture 15 mansions, the kind with heated driveways and elevators for the dog. People who talk about portfolio diversification at brunch, whose SUVs have never met a mud puddle. The lake itself, 47 acres of mirror-still water, ringed by houses worth more than I'd make in 3 lifetimes. And there's me, faded tattoos, work boots, trying to blend in and failing pretty spectacularly. Enter Patricia. If you've ever wondered what happens when a HOA president gets a taste for power, multiply that by 10 and slap a platinum card on it. She's the kind of neighbor who knows the square footage of your misery and isn't afraid to use it. Married to Grant Sterling, biggest boat dealer in 3 states, lives in the neighborhood's Oversized. 35-foot yacht docked out front as a shrine to their egos. First time I met her, she sized me up like I was a stain on the carpet. Welcome to the neighborhood, she says, and somehow makes it sound like an accusation. She's eyeing my boat, the horizon, like it's a crime scene. That is quite an imposing vessel. I'm sure you'll want to review our aesthetic guidelines, especially Section 7. 3 about oversized recreational equipment. I later found out that clause used to just ban rusty RVs. Makes sense, right? Nobody wants to stare at a junkyard. But Patricia, while half the community was skiing in Aspen, slipped in an amendment. Boats over 25 feet, not allowed. Mine was 29. Her husband's yacht? 35. Hypocrisy's not just a river in Egypt, let me tell you. When I brought this up at my first HOA meeting, me, the new guy, daring to ask why the rules didn't apply to Patricia's floating palace, she gives me this look, like she's grading my spelling. The community dock operates under different regulations. Our vessel provides essential security services. Security services? For what? Pirate attacks? In a gated neighborhood? I knew then logic was out the window. Still, nothing prepared me for what came next. 3 days later, I find a bill taped to my door, $1, $2.54 unauthorized vessel retrieval plus daily storage at, surprise, Sterling Marine. They wanted proof I'd modified my boat before releasing it. Like I'm just going to take a hacksaw and chop 3 feet off a Boston whaler. Extortion, plain and simple. It got worse. Certified letters, fines piling up. They threatened to lien my house, all over a boat. I hit the courthouse, channeling my inner detective, sifting through old covenants and records. Guess what I find? The original community rules didn't say squat about boats. Patricia's amendment was passed with just 7 people present, half what the law required for a vote. Illegal as a $3 bill. But while I was digging up evidence, Patricia waged war. Every day, new violations. My trailer's the wrong color. The lettering on my boat is excessively prominent. My tarp is visually aggressive. You can't make this stuff up. She was racking up fines faster than a Vegas slot machine. My neighbor, Mrs. Gable, knocks on my door one night, scared out of her mind. She got me, too, Caleb. 15 years I've lived here, and now my patio furniture's non-conforming. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about rules. It was about control. Breaking anybody who didn't fit Patricia's picture of paradise. Then, she played her trump card. A lien on my house for $4,000 in fines, compounding daily. Revoked my guest parking, which meant my side hustle, fixing engines for cash, was dead in the water. I was staring down bankruptcy and eviction. That's when I called in the big guns, Samantha Cross, attorney, HOA slayer, and all-around legend. She takes one look at my evidence and grins. This amendment is toast. No quorum, no notice. Patricia's built her little empire on a house of cards. But Patricia wasn't just a control freak. She was dangerous. My trailer tires slashed. Security cameras mysteriously glitched. Then came the anonymous reports. County inspectors crawling all over my property looking for violations. But all that heat, it forged us together. Me, Dr. Thorne, no relation, just a damn good man. Tom Miller, Widow Jenkins, even Mrs. Gable. We started meeting in my shop, swapping stories, sharing beer, plotting how to bring the dragon down. Then came the twist, the wild card nobody saw coming. Samantha calls, barely able to contain herself. Get to the courthouse now. I found something in Silas's old property records. Something about water rights. And what she lays out on that battered table changes everything. Turns out, Uncle Silas didn't just buy land. He bought the lake. Mineral rights, water rights, exclusive control. Not only that, he'd set up a trust back in '87, with a clause. The HOA, Patricia's Playhouse, only had a revocable license to use the water. And thanks to her campaign of harassment, they'd violated every term in the book. But Samantha says, don't go nuclear just yet. Let her hang herself. So we wait. Patricia escalates, files police reports, claims I'm threatening her, calls the local news, even tries to ban mechanical work on properties. Tries to get me fired, painted as a menace. But the pressure cracks her armor. She makes a fatal mistake, shows up in person, with her goons, to vandalize my shop. Destroys $15,000 in tools, trashes my sanctuary. Leaves a message spray-painted in red. Leave, or else. Only this time, the joke's on her. I'd installed backup cameras. The footage? Crystal clear. Her husband's truck, 2 goons, and Patricia herself, in the passenger seat, giving orders. When Officer Reynolds sees it, he just mutters, "Holy! This isn't HOA drama, Caleb. This is criminal." But Patricia, blind with arrogance, files a restraining order anyway. Gets up on the news, paints herself the victim. The hearing's a circus. She lies under oath, says I threatened her at her house the night of the break-in. Samantha, cool as ice, cues up courthouse security footage showing I was with her across town. Then she rolls the tape. Patricia, on camera, directing the destruction of my shop. The whole courtroom goes dead silent, the judge just staring. Mrs. Sterling, it appears you have perjured yourself and committed several felonies. Restraining order denied. Case referred to the DA. But it ain't over. There's still one last act. Emergency POA meeting. Patricia planning to cement her power. Only this time, I'm not just the guy in the back row, I'm the landlord. The whole neighborhood shows up. Tension so thick you could butter toast with it. Patricia, pale and rattled, tries to call the meeting to order. I cut her off, calm, but with all the power in the room. Samantha opens her briefcase, holds up the deed and the trust documents. Mr. Thorne is the sole trustee. He owns the lake. Gasps, chaos. Patricia freaks out, screaming fraud. But Samantha just shuts her down, steel in her voice. And then I drop the hammer. As of this moment, Sterling Marine's commercial access to the lake is terminated. You owe $89,000 in back fees. The board is dissolved for violation of the trust charter. Then, like a Hollywood ending, the feds step forward. Patricia Sterling, you are under arrest for conspiracy, wire fraud, and civil rights violations. The sound of those handcuffs? Sweeter than any applause I've ever heard. She's marched out past every neighbor she ever bullied. Channel 8's camera rolling, the crowd erupting, not in malice, but relief. For the first time in years, people can breathe again. And the best part? We didn't just go back to normal. We built something better. Patricia got 4 years in federal, Grant's business tanked, and with the $500,000 in trust funds Silas left behind. We rebuilt the lake, cleared the weeds, restocked fish, built an accessible pier. Abolished the old POA, started a rotating council where every voice mattered. 6 months later, at the first Lake Serenity Festival, I'm standing on the dock, Elena by my side, watching kids swim and laugh, no fear of fines. A little girl, Emma, tugs on my sleeve. Mr. Caleb, my grandma says you saved the neighborhood. Did you fight a monster? I kneel down, grinning. Something like that, sweetheart. Sometimes you just have to remind bullies that sharing's better than stealing. Looking out over that water, golden in the sunset, I realized Silas didn't just leave me a property. He left me a lesson. Ownership is stewardship. Power means nothing if you use it to hurt, but everything if you use it to lift others up. But here's the thing. I could have kicked every last one of them off that lake. After the way they treated me, maybe nobody would have blamed me. I chose to share it instead. So tell me, if you'd been in my shoes, what would you have done? Locked the gates, or built a community? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about justice, about right and wrong, and about the lines we draw when the tables finally turn. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's changing the game for good.